Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. And if you would ask me, if you would have the possibility to ask me, like, Wim, did you have a great time in summer? Did you enjoy your time off of YouTube? Did you have a good holiday? Because I actually did have a holiday, a vacation with my family. Just also, not only we went to a place, and also, but also the 3 weeks that my wife was at home, took some time off from her work. We actually spent a wonderful time. So yes, I had a wonderful time. Thank you for asking. And I know many of you watching right now actually would have liked to ask me that question. And I've been reading your comments in the comment section. It was wonderful to see all of you reaching out in the I'm quitting video. So I'm back. I had a very good 2 months, a little bit more even. And I did even more than just building this shelf over here where we now finally can have all our productions together. There's still room for more, and there is more coming. By the way, do you see the little green box here? I still have to learn to point that one. That's Chopin. Chopin just arrived an hour before I recorded this video, so the boxes are here. They look just stunning. In fact, let me just take it. And then I'm going to update you of all the new plans that we're going to make. So the color, it's just fantastic. It's very well made. The quality is excellent. And you'll have 5 CDs here with, of course, you know, the pieces, the etudes, the scherzi, the ballades, the preludes, and what's the other thing that I'm forgetting? I have no idea, but it's wonderful. The booklet is wonderful. Your name, if you back this on Kickstarter, is there as well. So I'm really, really happy with this. And that shelf, well, the book is coming there. The book, if it's ready, there is another yellow box coming, but I'm going to talk about it in this update, because this is kind of update for you. I was quitting YouTube because I wanted to resource a little bit and just think about, you know, where are we now with the project? We started with clavichord back in the days, I mean, years ago, I think 2014, it's unbelievable. It was a clavichord channel, in fact. Then the pianoforte came, then tempo reconstruction came, then tempo reconstruction became the entire thing that we did on YouTube, and so on and so on. So how to bring everything together and just form like a unity around everything that we do. And also how to just, you know, go forward with all of that and create content also for you guys here on YouTube that you enjoy. And so, what did I do other than just enjoying my little break with the family? We had some meetings, we had a book seminar with the people that are involved in that project, which was great. And then also Stefan, officially my project manager, but it's apart from being a good friend, he is unbelievable in helping out with organizing, with brainstorming. It's unbelievable. So everything you see, almost everything you see over there is partly also because Stefan is helping us, Alberto and myself. And Stefan came over. We had a wonderful 5-day seminar where, in fact, we had a lot of brainstorms, obviously, but it was very focused around everything that I did, that we initiated in the past, and everything came so beautifully together. So out of that conversation, out of that meeting, came a lot of ideas. And before you start to being afraid, like, Wim, we know you have a lot of ideas, but be careful with your time. I know. And it's also Stefan who just pushes the brakes. How do you say that? For this, because I know myself, he knows myself, you know me. I mean, I have too many ideas. And honestly, I mean, too many things to do in order to make this project go well. So don't worry. We made some decisions around everything, the plans that I'm going to announce you, and not everything is going to happen just immediately, and maybe it's not gonna happen ever. Also to these videos, like, I'm gonna try to record these without any editing. I hope I can do that. I have to manage my time on YouTube very well, and I know that you guys don't actually care about me editing the video, have funny or like a fancy B-roll. When I have something to show, I can prepare it and I will show it on the screen. So, but I won't try to make these videos faster, like quicker, to keep up with. I don't know what kind of algorithm there's out there that would push me for that, because I know for a fact that you don't care. Some videos that I really worked hard on didn't perform at all, and some videos that are just recorded like this performed very well. Okay, with all of that out of the way, what is authentic sound? You could say 3.0 is going to look like. Well, that's something we have to build together. I've made some notes here because otherwise I would forget. First of all, starting with the clavichord, then going to whole beat, pianoforte. We did a lot of recordings around that. And now the question is like, I want to bring the clavichord more to the foreground again, but also I want to start more with educational content, and more on that in a second. I know many of you have been reaching out to me in the past years. Wim, how do you play that? How do you make fingerings for that? And whatever. What is whole beat meaning for? What tempo do I like? All of these practical questions when you open your piano or harpsichord or whatever instrument you play, clavichord. If you play the clavichord, I know that. So just to help you with that, YouTube will also serve that purpose more. But more on YouTube in a second. First of all, the recordings, of course, are going to stay. The recordings is something that both for Alberto and for me is, of course, very important. We are in the first place musicians. And I also thought, being very honest with you, like I've spent a lot of time doing stuff next to playing music, and sometimes it overtakes actually playing music. And now some of you may say like, oh, Wim is not a professional, but I am a professional in the sense that if I have to play an organ concert in Leuven, of course, when it's a very important concert, I have to prepare on another level, but I can manage to play like in a kind of routine way, with practicing in a routinely way on a very high level. But I want to make more recordings. I want to just practice more. I want to play more music. So the things that are on my plate, and I'm looking so much forward to that, is starting a Mozart project. And I know many of you will now be clapping in the hands like, finally, Wim, yes. Bach is not going anywhere, by the way. There will be Bach, Mozart, that will be my focus for the coming years, probably. So Mozart will be like a project comparable to the yellow one over there, to the Beethoven full keyboard works, but not everything of Mozart. I will make a huge selection. There will be, of course, the sonatas, the variations, the rondos, and some other works, some individual works, some lesser known works. So let's say 80% of Mozart's keyboard works will be played. Of course, the clavichord is going to be central in this, but I'm going to use also the organ in Leuven for the organ works that Mozart wrote, like the very end of his life, but also the fortepiano. I was not playing the fortepiano for quite a while. It's still difficult to mix. I'm not going too much into detail, but I will just put it back on my clavichord, pianoforte, like they have to become friends. And so it would be a unique situation where the clavichord actually plays everything except for the organ works, but the pianoforte also plays some works that I've already recorded on the clavichord, and maybe also I'm going to do that on the organ, some of these works, because Mozart sounds phenomenal on organ, just adding a little bit of pedal with changing manuals and things like that. So you would have a unique situation where would have, I don't know how many CDs or hours of recordings. It might be like 18 or 25. I have no idea. It will be a lot. So it's not a project that I can just in a few months finish. But when I played on the clavichord, the instrument that Mozart actually had his entire life. But also you could listen to some sonatas, some works at the pianoforte to hear the difference, and also at the organ. That would be actually fantastic. And I'm working on planning all of that. Next to that, what's on my list is Mendelssohn organ works. Sonatas in particular, they're metronomized. I'm not going to dive into detail here, but it took me really a long time to understand what Mendelssohn there, because his metronome marks are not so clear as a normal secular work, as I would say. But I figured it out, I think, and I played. There will be actually a lunch concert that I played in Leuven recently on our Patreon page. And there you will hear a Mendelssohn sonata in whole beat. It's still a little bit faster, like 5 to 10% some movements, because obviously I didn't check the tempo during the performance, but still you hear the result. It's magnificent. So I but it's not a project that I will be recording in the coming months. Next year, 6 sonatas, that's a huge work. That's for me. For Alberto, there is, of course, a lot of Beethoven on his plate. He will continue with that. When Beethoven is done, he has a choice between, in 27 then, between a box with with Schubert sonatas, or record the second volume of Chopin. You let me know in the comment section what you would prefer. So recordings are going to stay. This year we had 4 Kickstarters. There is a third one coming now in September. So this video will be launched the 17th of September. The 22nd of September, note that date, there will be the Kickstarter for the WTC well-tempered keyboard number 2. So in addition to this little blue one here, there will be 3 more CDs with volume 2, and then, so that will be complete. There will be also a pre-launch link page, I think. So just check out the links in the description box for everything that I'm going to announce here. So that about the recordings. And we will have some other Kickstarters, but that's for later. So then we will have a podcast. That's a decision that we took. We had, Stefan and I, like quite a long debate, but already we have a podcast on our Patreon page. Since I think I started the podcast over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, then Stefan joined, and it's so much more enjoyable to have like a conversation with 2 people in a podcast. This is a little bit of a different format, a little bit of a faster format, if you want. But the podcast, I've been telling you also on YouTube, I enjoy that so much. And I know for a fact that the patrons who listen to the podcast actually enjoy that as well. And so it deserves more audience than, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're a patron, you're the best. But I think the quality and the message of it is like deserves, maybe not deserves, but could help and inspire more people when we just launch it as a regular podcast. So we will be on Substack, which is a platform apparently that's very good for hosting the podcasts, and there is a link already in the description, so you can sign up for that. It's free. We will have 2 formats. We have audio podcast only. They will be available publicly. Patrons will get it 2 weeks before. There will be like some arrangements there. I'm not going into detail, but on Substack, you can listen to it for free if you want. And there will be also the video podcast will be behind the paywall. It will be not expensive, but like we are also figuring out like how can we make all of this sustainable. It's very important. And so Substack will have 2 levels. You can also go to Patreon where the podcast will be hosted as well, or be shared as well. And there you at certain tier levels, you can listen to that if you want prior to the public launch. So the podcast will be more dedicated to whole beat and to, actually, I should say historical performance practice. And because, changing tempo changes everything. And when you change the tempo, everything on top of that changes. So there is a lot of stuff to talk about. I will do the podcast with Stefan as a co-host. Alberto will be stepping in regularly, so that we will be with 3 people. And in the future, we will see how we develop this. We might actually invite some other guests. I'm really looking forward to just talk about historical informed performance practice, also with guests that have other expertises, like more into detail about ornamentation, things like that. It will be really for a broad level of musicians, like if you are just interested, curious, and hear people talk about pedaling, about articulation, about fingerings. I mean, I don't know how far we can go in a podcast without any visuals, without being at the instrument. So, but then that will be for you. Sign up for it already now. It's important for us also to see these signs. With the podcast, I'm looking forward to that. Then YouTube, this channel, not much will change. Well, maybe yes. It depends how you see it. Let me explain. So I will have 1 dedicated YouTube video every 2 weeks. Now it was 1 every other week, every week. But the week that I'm not recording a dedicated YouTube video for this channel, you will get like an excerpt of the video podcast. Like, let's say the podcast lasts around 1 hour, 1 hour 15. That's our time limit there. So you get like 20 minutes, like a fragment of that with the video podcast, with the call to action, of course, to listen to the entire thing on Substack if you want. But at least you have some content here. And like, we will see how we do that. Maybe we just give 20 minutes. Maybe we have a fragment that is like a unity or something like that. We still have to figure that out. But in that order, like the podcast is going to play a role as well on YouTube and YouTube in the podcast. So we create a kind of ecosystem. And in the future, guys, when, let's say, Alberto has more time or has feels it for it to share things on YouTube again, we might increase the number of YouTube videos again. But I want to have you here on YouTube, regular content, and without actually, for me, from my time management, to just spend like quite a lot of time preparing that. You have to imagine like all the videos that I made until the I'm quitting video. That's like a lecture of half an hour. And I know some of you said like, Wim, I like listening to you, but can you make it a little bit shorter? Shorter means more preparation. And I'm not against more preparation, but it leads to more work, it leads to more time. And I have things to do, for instance, finishing the book. And to be honest, I also have to find a format that works for me. Like script an entire video, it could very well be, but there are videos. If you go to the 1808 concert that I made, the video that I made about that, it was almost 2 weeks work of writing, not continuously, of course, but I mean, probably close to 15 to 20 hours of preparation just for the script and not only the editing. That's something that has a major impact on all the other things that I'm doing. So therefore, I was not practicing as much as I should, and therefore I was not writing and working on the book as much as I should. I mean, I worked like crazy this year on the book, and should not say that, but in that year, particularly when I made all of these videos, you remember that for those of you who were there already back then, like 2-3 years ago. So it's not that I don't want to have more content on YouTube, but you will have content on YouTube, also educational content. There will be whole beat sources, of course, that will not change, but we'll have additional, let's say, chapters on YouTube, where the educational content that I was talking about is actually going to be a little bit more in the foreground, or like equally on the foreground. So I'll have to see how I do that, because those videos will be recorded in my studio, at the clavichord, at the fortepiano. So I have to find a setup. I've been thinking about that. It's not easy. You're recording voice, instrument, lighting is different. You have a score that you cannot obviously not see when I'm just recording myself. So how do I project the score on screen? Maybe I don't. Maybe I just invite you to just download it first and then follow it on another screen or what have you. But I have to figure out a system in which I can actually, do all of that without sacrificing, let's not sacrifice, spending like a whole lot of time in post-editing, because that time we don't have, as long as we cannot hire 4 or 5 people, which we cannot. We're just a music channel, a research channel, then that would not be possible. Maybe in the future, but I want to try and do my best to provide you with that. Why are we actually pivoting a little bit more to educational content? It's first because you asked that for the past years, a lot of you. Secondly, I really want to do that because actually that's my job. Thirdly, because on Wholebeat, I will share sources. We make single beat tests. We would do all of that good stuff that many of you really like. It will continue, but it will not be the only thing. I saw in the numbers of views on YouTube that it was declining, and I didn't know why. There was like 600, 700, 800 of you that really like to see that stuff. And that's a lot of people, don't get me wrong. But I also felt like with the many of you, even like, Wim, maybe we can move on for this. A large part of you said like, Wim, we get it. Wholebeat is a fact. Just be a musician, teach us something. And for the people that I haven't convinced yet, I will never convince them. The new people can go to the older videos, and I will have playlists. And I will continuously talk about this because the book is still ongoing, and you know all of that. So therefore comes educational content on the channel in the future. But we're also planning, and this is important, to have a membership where education is in the center, like just helping you play music, practice music in the best way. Talking about fingerings again, that's for me super important. A good fingering with a Bach piece or a Mozart piece can help, will reduce your practice, will cut your practicing time not only in half, but half would like decimate it. Like you will be so much quicker. You will have so much better results with less effort when you understand how to make fingering, how fingers actually is a tool for your interpretation, your practicing. So we will have systematic. That's the plan. When we have the membership, we will have systematic, actually, videos, courses, where with cool stuff. I'm not going to dive into that right now. We're not going to build that immediately. I need just first to see that you are interested in that. So I'll be talking about it in the future a lot, but with a call to action to sign up for an email list. And there will already be a link here in the description box. When you sign up for that, we need a certain number of you that show interest for us building this. Once that's done, once we reach that number, and we don't know yet how many people we want, but more than 5, let's say, then I will have a new call to action of you in that email list. And actually, we will start building it when enough of you actually said, we really want it. We want to pay a subscription fee for that, because at the end, it again comes down to sustainability. If we want to build that, it needs to be like a good use of my time. Alberto is going to join there probably as well. This could be something really, really, really cool. I'm so much looking forward to that. But that's something where Stefan said, I'm with you here, but before we build that, we have to actually have a trajectory towards that, so that we're not building this already now and then have to do like crazy stuff to get people's attention that is already there. We have to see if this is really something that you guys want. So that's a 2 steps or 3 steps journey to that. First, sign up for it. There's a link below. Do that, so that we have enough people, and then we go to the second step, like asking the people that are in the list, like, okay, I can imagine that we give that a lifelong membership for a subscription fee that is like ridiculous for just 20 people. Just see if there is an interest in that. So let me know in the comment section if you're looking forward to that as well. And then finally, there are actually 2 points, but the one major decision that we took, and that is a decision that I hold back, Stefan wanted that a long time ago, is we will open a new channel, Authentic Sound Music. Why are we doing that? Why are we not just putting everything on one channel? Some of you know that I took part in like a very good and important, actually, I would say, YouTube course a few years back, Channel Jumpstart. These guys are probably the best that you will find in the world, of among the best. And their advice to me was, I had the chance to have a one-on-one meeting with one of those, except apart from the courses that we followed and what have you, was also kind of membership. And they said, like, you cannot have speaking head videos like I have now and music videos. That the viewer's experience should be the same. I'm not going to go in detail, but actually advised, like, take down all of your music videos, not immediately, but one by one, and just have the more popular point to the new channel and go to an Authentic Sound Music channel. I was afraid for doing that because the music videos actually are half of my views on the channel, but it's might be partly true that that's also hurting the channel. So we are now going to Authentic Sound Music channel. There is, again, call to action. There is a link in the description box. The channel exists. There should be some content on right now, not a lot. So that will be filled like regularly. I have almost 400 videos on my main YouTube channel. And of course, another thing was like, what do I do with the videos where I play Mozart or Haydn sonatas or whatever music before that I started seriously with this tempo reconstruction thing? So I decided, like, this is a music channel. This is about me, about Alberto. If he is joining, we probably will have some of the sonatas still, but we might also just have that box there. But like, that's my journey. Those videos will have a date clearly marked so that you know this is prior to Wim's whole beat journey, and this is post the date where I started seriously with this tempo reconstruction thing. So I'm not gonna height for that, but the music videos will go one by one or in batches of 10 actually every 1 or every 2 week to the new channel, and the videos that will be there will be unlisted on the main channel. So in 1 year, probably the transition will be complete. Hopefully you sign up massively, you start listening to the music over there so that we can have the channel monetized very quickly. When that's happening, could be also our tool. Decisions need to be made to have our recordings there as well. You know, the only thing that we have on Spotify, I think, is the WTC I, the organ CD, I think, and I think also the Fifth Symphony. But the symphonies are nowhere to be found unless you go on Bandcamp. That could be for us also a possibility to have them on our own channel when we can monetize everything. So we will see about that. So that's an important change. And apart from that, of course, the book will be like on my plate for a longer time. That is an inevitable. The manuscript is like very far advanced. But I'll update you in the future on that. That is, we are entering the phase where we also start thinking about publication, things like that. So be with me and have patience with us with the book. It's a huge project. But the entire manuscript was discussed this summer. Also for me, like I've printed everything and to just have an overview, and it felt really amazing. There were texts, of course, written a few years back, but they are actually so, I cannot say for myself well written, but they are very effectful. They do the job. And so the direction of the book is very pragmatic. It's not like, let's prove it. Let's prove Hollywood exists. No, let's just reverse it. Like, there is no other solution. And when you think like that, this happens. And so I was very happy reading the manuscript, and I wish I could share it with you. But of course, for obvious reason, that's not possible. But I'm working on it more than you might think. That's also the reason why YouTube has to be a little bit contained, because, you know, my passion is in sharing all of that with you. And then Patreon also got an update. We have now 3 tier levels instead of 4. Check it out. Might be something for you. The lowest tier level 5 is now $5, I should say. And you get there every month an extensive update on the project. So if you really want to be a little bit closer to the project, that's your tier level. We have also a free section now that YouTube has. We will provide some information there, so to just keep you a little bit in the loop of what is going on. And but of course, the Patreon site is the paid Patreon site, I should say, is the main thing where you get the most information. Obviously, I couldn't do it without my patrons. There is no way that I would be building this without Patreon. They are fantastic. So that's a good note to end this video with, by thanking my patrons, but also thanking all of you. I have no idea what this video is going to perform. I, again, plan to have this under 15 minutes, but I just cannot. That's just not my nature. And I'm actually tired of fighting against my nature, because I want to feel good when I record a video like this. And so it will not be an hour every time, but like around 30 minutes. That's my time frame on YouTube. And I hope that doesn't bore you to death, because otherwise I will have to find something else. That's the last thing I would like to do. But thanking you for being here, and on this journey, this Authentic Sound 3.0 journey, just building everything on top of tempo reconstruction, what is going to change. For me, it's just like liberation, this thought only that, like, I didn't realize that I realized that a little bit when I made the I'm quitting video, but now through the talks with Stefan and also recording this and preparing this video, it's like everything comes to a full cycle and circle actually, and that feels so great. Execution will be another thing. The idea is there. You'll have to stay with me if you want, and give me a little bit of time to build all of this and to be in the habit of also producing educational content in the best way possible. I will do that with you, and I will be looking forward to your comments and your suggestions to make it better. And just let me know what you want to hear, what you want to hear me talk about. I will happily read it and take it into consideration. Okay, that was it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and we will see each other very soon again. Bye.